Welcome to another episode of the apocalypse. It's all over. Donnie's starting World War III, ruining the world's economy and especially America's, so he can cancel the midterms. Anyway, let's begin. Donnie started the morning off with this bullshit. Without the USA, NATO is a paper tiger, really. Really, all those guns and ships and tanks and paper tiger, you say. It's looking like America's the paper tiger if we can't even, handle the Strait of fucking Hormuz. And son, I saw a close-up picture of what the coast of the Strait of Hormuz looks like on Iran's side. Son, I'm telling you, son, you would not want to fight a battle with guns and missiles and all that shit there. It looks like hell. What do I mean by that? It's all rocky moguls. Like, some are like head high, some are a little overhead, some are just below head. It's not soil either you can dig into. It's rock, son. And there ain't no cover. And if they try and land there, or they try and go in that way, they take that island. Whatever the plan is, man, I do not see it going well, is what I'm trying to say. It's about the worst terrain you could possibly get in the deck of cards. Not to mention it's a vicious choke point for any large ships, anything like that. Son, the Antichrist is about to get us in some shit here. Or he's about to just give up and go home. I don't know. But a lot of ships and troops is moving. Despite what this cunt is pretending or saying to our faces. And that's something I keep even forgetting about him. As stupid, as incompetent as he seems, there may be a method to his madness here. Maybe he wants a big war to start. Maybe he doesn't care about the economy. Maybe he wants to use that to stop the midterms. I don't know. This would be a great excuse, wouldn't it? We'll see. Let me continue. NATO is a paper tiger. They don't want... Oh, that's in all caps, by the way. He's insulting all of our allies again for the millionth fucking time. And begging for their help at the same time, by the way. They didn't want to join the fight to stop a nuclear-powered Iran. Now they fight... Now that fight is militarily won. Really? Because I just saw an oil field on fire yesterday in Qatar. I saw a bunch of ships get fucking set on fire. I saw them shoot 2 missiles at Diego Garcia today. I don't know, son. I don't think it's over yet. Now that the fight is militarily won with very little danger for them, they complain about the high oil prices they are forced to pay. Once again, the U.S. Navy is afraid to go in that strait, son. And they say there's no danger to anyone else. They telling oil ships to go through. They got blown the fuck up. Just go on through. I know the U.S. Navy is hanging way the fuck back and we too scared to go through. But you can go through. NATO, oil ships, whatever. Just, dodge the missiles, dodge the drones, dodge the mines. Donnie's amazing. So it's militarily won. There's very little danger for them. They complain about the high oil prices they are forced to pay, but don't want to help open the Strait of Hormuz. You mean the war you and Bibi started? Europe had nothing to do with it. They had no input, no say. You didn't say, hey, you want to join this thing we're doing? Not until Bibi and Donnie got shit all over their shoe do they turn to the rest of the world, or at least Donnie does, and says, you all need to come help us now. They don't want to help open the Strait of Hormuz, a simple military maneuver. Simple, you say? Well, why don't you just roll the ships on in there, Donnie, if it's so fucking simple? That is the single reason for the high oil prices. No, Donnie and Bibi are the single reason for the high oil prices. Those two men, that's it. That's it. They made a decision. No one else. So easy for them to do. Really easy, you say? With so little risk. Little risk, you say? Are there any Navy ships in the Strait, son? Fuck no. Cowards, and we will remember. President DJT. Utterly insulting all of our allies again. Not just Europe, NATO. I assume there's other countries in NATO besides Europe and America, right? I'm not sure all the members. Maybe Japan's in there too. I don't know. Maybe some Asian countries. I have no idea. I never really kept track. But Donnie's insulting all of our allies, calling them cowards, and that he will remember, which means retribution in the future. He said that more than once. Hegseth called them cowards. And again, this is after insulting them all for months, for over a year, saying you're going to annex some of their territory, telling them all to fuck off, tariff grifting the fuck out of them. Incredible. Donnie's incredible. This is Senator Ossoff talking to, is that Jen Psaki? I love Jen Psaki. I don't know where she's from, but her accent, I really dig it. Best White House press person I've ever seen in my life, by the way. She handled the cult press like a master as they asked their third grade questions designed by Rubes and for Rubes. She was a master and sexy as fuck too. I don't know what it is about her. I'll stop now. Ossoff. This is what I describe as their dear leader problem. Because in this administration, it is unacceptable ever to contradict the president's words. And because the president is a pathological liar, our intelligence officials twist themselves into knots to, on the one hand, avoid committing perjury, and on the other hand, to avoid ever contradicting the White House. Yeah, I just said all this yesterday, but he said it in a nice, tight paragraph, very concisely. And that's literally what I was saying. I'm tired of this theater where they do what? Avoid committing perjury on the one hand, and the other, avoid contradicting dear leader. It's a cult. They're Nazis. Donnie wants to rule the world, and he thinks he does, son. And I imagine the theater was quite similar in the late 30s, mid 30s, 40s in Germany. The exact same thing. Where everyone's looking at it, even the people taking part, and everyone knows how ridiculous it all is, how absurd, how evil, and everyone is we're just going to play along. And every hearing, whether it's Bondi, Noam, whoever from the Reich, all of their plans are nefarious, evil, and of Satan. And that is not the least exaggeration. I know you've heard a million people say shit like that. This is a different time. This is a different thing. pay the fuck attention. Trust me. I don't know if you noticed. Have you ever seen an animal that needed adoration so much? You know why you haven't seen that since Adolf Hitler? Because he's the fucking Antichrist, that's why. And I don't want him to be again. This ain't fun for me. I'm laying the paradigm upon you. Acknowledge it or not. Or go about your business. You have free will. Good luck, son. So I'm tired of seeing the same theater, and Mr. Ossoff summed it up perfectly what we're witnessing before us. We get nothing but lies, evasion and obstruction and criminality from the Reich, and it don't matter which member you grab, son. Encyclopedia Britannica and Merriam-Webster have just sued Sam Altman's AI. I'm not even going to read what they're accused of. Every AI model was trained on people's artwork, our human interactions on social media, all of our data. No one was asked permission ever for the true training of these models. All stolen. There should be lawsuits over all of it, and courts should bankrupt every one of these companies. They stole everything to turn it on us, to turn it against us, and to make money in the mean fucking time. So Britannica and Merriam, why not? I guarantee they stole all your information, every fucking jot of it. So why not sue? Your company did the work. Whoever, wrote those editions out all those different years, update them. You guys put the money, the time, the information out. Not the AI company. Fuck them. Everyone should sue. Every thumbnail I make, I know it's based on someone's art or model photo or whatever, depending if it's a woman I make or a banner or whatever. It's based on someone else's artwork or someone else's picture or some real woman that exists, body shape, that the AI just picked from the internet, picked from wherever it gets it from. All based on real people, real faces, real body shapes, model photos, and then they slap the artwork on it. All stolen. I heard an author just got her book taken off shelves because it was mostly AI written. Nobody wants that. We don't want AI movies. We don't want AI girlfriends, boyfriends, best friends. I know you people are freaks, but we're not. We don't want AI artwork. I could make thumbnails some other way. I don't need to do that. We don't need AI novels. Who the fuck wants that? AI music especially, my God. I don't want to see Val Kilmer in a movie AI rendered. I think it's cheese. And he was a brilliant actor. I don't want to see him cheapened by some shitty AI rendering. If it's for his estate, they need money. All right, I'll live with it. If it's just some greedy studio or the estate has plenty of money and they just want more money, I can't live with it. I don't want to see holograms of Elvis or Michael Jackson or Chris Cornell or Chester Bennington. It's cheese, son. It's cheap bullshit so someone can make money off his dead image. Literally resurrecting him just to make a buck. That's what's been happening, and that's what's about to happen a lot more. Resurrecting the dead just to grift. It's why it's all gotta end, son. It just has to. Where's this shitbird gonna go? The oligarch dystopian nightmare for us, this dystopian utopia for them for 1,000 years? No, son, that was never gonna happen. I know it's a nice fantasy for you people. You'll get it for about 5 minutes before the man just slaps it all away. And I mean all of it. It's going to be really ugly for you people. It will not be fun. I don't even know how I got on all that. What the fuck was I even talking? Oh, AI. So Altman's got a nice lawsuit coming his way. I assume other companies and other stolen data and information and ideas and dialogue and all different companies will begin suing these AI companies, and they should. No mercy. They want to replace us all with this, some oligarch utopia where none of us have jobs. And I really need to keep asking this question. I thought about this earlier. Again, in your oligarch utopia, you utter leeches of Satan. When none of us have a job, and I mean none of us, because that's your dream. It's evident by the headlines I see, by the tests I'm seeing. Autonomous cars, autonomous tractor trailers. That's really where they want it, son. Put all you truck drivers out of business. They've been foaming at the mouth to do that for years. Artwork, music, movies, corporate work, human resources even, all AI driven. I hear the commercials every day. Whole packages for your business. I'm so glad they included the human resource people, because I've had run-ins with them over the years. And they're usually the people making a list to lay off, or an efficiency expert. But it's really human resources. And they do the hiring too. Often. Those same type of people were those same people. So glad to see them getting replaced by AI too. I hear the commercials every day, son, on satellite. We'll give you a whole AI package for your business, every department you could fucking think of. You'll never miss a customer call again. So they want to replace every job. So in this utopia, Miss Rothschild, who's going to buy your shitty products and services? Mr. Gates, Tim Apple, Leon Scum. Oh, universal high income, the lie Leon's telling, when you don't want us to have any income. Andrew Yang's idea. Before he went all MAGA and shit. It'll never happen, son. Unless it comes along with a mark. Maybe that's when they'll unveil it. Hey, we'll give you $1,000 a month because you're peasants and fuck you. All you gotta do is take this mark. Get in the system. On Danny Coin. Maybe that's how it'll work. But the dream is, I don't think they'll get there because AI is just not reliable, son. It's that simple. The dream is every job's gone AI, son, and just the oligarch at the top getting all the profits, getting everything, and they'll still expect all of us to buy their shitty products or service, and none of us will have money. So the utopia doesn't sound very profitable, son, is what I'm trying to say. And I know you cunts, the elite pedophiles at the top, Thale, Leon, Miss Rothschild, so many others, Donnie, Nutlick, so many others that are like, resigning from their CEO positions and ownership positions and like going off into hiding in the woods in some mansion. It just doesn't sound very profitable. So I don't understand how this utopia is supposed to work. Slave labor? Okay, well, the slaves need to eat. They like to buy things, and they won't have no money because you guys want it all. So if you all have all the money and everyone else doesn't have any, again, do they buy your shitty products and services? I don't get it. Oh, that's right. You don't care. You just care about your portfolio and the dollar signs in your eyes. I keep forgetting that you think logically or something. I have mistaken you. You don't think logically. You're of Satan. You think of the next buck for your portfolio, nothing more. That is your existence. Therefore, you can't even ask yourself the question or acknowledge the fact that once no one has a job, well, then no one has money to buy your shit. For you to siphon off and live like a god. And you'll burn through your shit, double quick time because you people live like gods. You think you're gods. So what do you do when your money's all gone and peasants haven't had jobs in years, so they can't bail your asses out again like they always do? I guess you end up on the street starving too, huh? That's where it would inevitably end, you fucking cretins of Satan. You understand that, right? Actually, you don't. Let's continue. Donnie did something in front of, I don't know who these cadets, soldiers, police cadet, I don't know. All I know is I wouldn't even be in the same room with the motherfucker. I don't care what your job is, whatever your role in society. You're standing in formation with the Antichrist. Fuck you. That's all I have to say. We're having a hard time. We want to talk to them, and there's nobody to talk to. We have nobody to talk to, and you know what? We like it that way. Really, Donnie? Why are you panicking every day then? Why are you begging for help? Why are oil fields burning? What does that mean? Translation. The Iranians ain't answering the phone. You know why? They can't trust Donnie's shitbags. He started bombing them in the middle of negotiations. Then he killed their top 50. So Iran isn't answering the phone. They want a reckoning, and they got it, son. Because they know what they're doing. Got the United States, the commander-in-chief, sadly for us, how embarrassing. What a shame and stain on this fucking nation. Wanting the taco and turn tail and run because he doesn't know what to fucking do. But in true Antichrist fashion, he'll just send 8,000 troops there and get, a few thousand killed or something. Because he's a real tough guy when your life is in front of the bullets. What does Iran want? What does this mean? What Donnie just said, there's no one to talk to. You know why? Because they ain't answering the phone. They want revenge and they want a reckoning. Watch Tombstone with Kurt Russell. When they bring up the aspect of what's going on, like, you just want revenge or something. He's like, no, I want a reckoning, son. And understanding. That's worse than revenge. That's what Iran wants. And boy, they on the road to it. They in control right now, not Donnie Shitbags. He looks like a fool. He's got troops 2 weeks out, a week out, closing in on this place, as if it's a full-scale fucking invasion. Meanwhile, begging the rest of the world to bail him the fuck out at the same time, begging for help. It's an utter clusterfuck, and he has no clue what the fuck he's doing. And a lot of you soldiers, man, you braver than me, because I wouldn't be willing to go die for this. And some of you gonna die. Some of you already have. We like it that way. No, Donnie doesn't like it that way. He's panicking his ass off. Every morning I wake up to no one's helping us, they're cowards. But we don't need no help. Day 21. Strait's still fucking closed. So Rand ain't answering the phone, and no, Donnie doesn't like it that way. Again, he thought they were going to give up after they killed Iran's top 50. We on day 21. They ain't give up yet. This is Malcolm Nance, and if there's one thing he knows about is war and military type shit, because he's in the military, he was. It's official. They're fucking winging this. Yeah, that's been obvious for a while now. Yes, this MEU is scheduled for an April deployment to Indo-PACOM, but it will take 22 days to get to the PG at max speed sustain, which means no port visits or stops. Whoa, that sounds fun. 30 days to get there at average cruising speed. This is so ridiculous. So clean up or back up for an unplanned amphibious campaign. No one knows. They're winging it. At this point, prepare for mobilization of the 82nd Airborne, 75th Rangers, 10th Mountain, and all the SOF in the world. Trump needs an off-ramp, or this war will go on for the next year after he declares victory. Yeah. The Boxer Amphibious Ready Group, ARG, comprised of the USS Boxer, LHD-4, USS Comstock, LSD-45, USS Portland, LPD-27, with the embarked 11th Marine Expeditionary Group, MEU, is on its way to the Middle East after departing the U.S. West Coast for deployment. From the U.S. West Coast to the Middle East. That's going to take a while. 3 ships mentioned there and a bunch of fucking Marines. That's all going toward Iran. That's important to remember because Donnie's going to say something in a minute. And you're going to need to remember this for that moment. 3 warships and a shit fuck ton of Marines. It is illegal for U.S. currency to feature the portrait of a live person. Any instrument so adorned is not valid U.S. currency. It is not legal tender. Its creation would in fact be counterfeiting. That's not going to stop them or Donnie. Look, and they're commenting on the Treasury Department is hurtling forward with minting what will now be 3 different coins with Trump's picture because one glorification of oneself on a coin just isn't enough. Donnie needs 3. I told you the Antichrist, right? Right, son? You get it now? A $1 that will circulate, and 2 commemorative 24 gold ones. So actual currency you can spend a $1, and then the commemorative. Two commemorative. Again, for the rubes, because I think normal people understand this. There's a reason we don't put living presidents on our currency. Because this nation started, I know you don't care about any of this. You're just a rube going along with evil, I know. When this nation started, they were rebelling against a monarchy. That means a king, for the rube that doesn't know what a monarch or monarchy is. In other words, if the king wants to chop your fucking head off because he don't like you, that's his right. He's king. That's what you cunts installed. That's what you've wanted all this time. Your right-wing grift king. Just as evil as all of you. Just as cold. Just as Antichrist. Donnie would love to be a king. It's what he's been trying to do since the 80s. You gave him the grift. So he's going to make himself king now, like he tried to do last time with his coup. So our forefathers that you allege to believe in, care about, agree with, think are great, said, we don't want to live under a king. Let's try something different. Let's try democracy, voting, councils. Instead of one guy, chopping our heads off and stealing all our property whenever he feels like it. Let's try a little fairness, a little bit. Not. I could go into detail about the errors of their ways and what they were into and all that, but I'm not going to do that right now. The main point is they didn't want to live under a monarchy. So they designed this government based on Greek and Roman and all kinds of shit. Senate, Congress, representatives, all that great stuff. So the idea of a king was utterly repulsive. So in this nation, there was a tradition, Rubes, before you ruined it, that we didn't glorify as a king, as a monarch, a president, our leader, a temporary leader on our currency, because we didn't want to have the appearance of a monarchy, a dictatorship, all that great shit that you've turned our country into. But Donnie, the Antichrist, must glorify himself in every way you can think of. He stole a woman's Nobel, son. He said he wanted to be Pope's son. He formed a board of peace that runs the Middle East, and in his mind, took the place of the UN, and that's the governing body of the world now in his mind. Interesting that none of his board of peace members can throw some warships in the strait for us. Not that kind of board, I guess. Just a grift. Donnie must glorify himself in every way. He wants every title, every trophy, every adoration. That's an Adolf Hitler type. That's the Antichrist type. Literally. A Caesar type. What do they always end up wanting in the end as they get mad or worse? What they've always wanted. To be worshipped as a god. How many leaders throughout time have portrayed themselves to their people as a god? Many. Many. That is what you're seeing here. That is the path we are all on, and we are going there whether the fuck we want to or not. Early on in this nightmare that you people have wrought, quite early, actually, after he took office January 25, we saw a commercial where there was, and I'm just guessing, a 40-foot tall statue of Donnie Shitbags, gold, of course. Where, son, you ask? On the Holy Land. And there's a reason I've repeated that 13,000 times since it happened. How many humans on this planet would even fathom in their mind for a millisecond the desire to have a gold statue of themselves on the Holy Land, son? Does you hear me? Ponder that for a moment and realize how fucked you are, and realize where you are. It starts with an A and it ends with lips. And you know where that leads, son. Starts with an A and ends with Eden. I'll take a break quickly as you ponder the 40-foot statue of Donnie in gold on the Holy Land, son. Okay. Now that you're done with the horror of a gold statue of a U.S. president on the Holy Land, if there's any greater evidence that he wants to be seen as a god, that would probably be the best evidence. Look, there are some very sick people that have been born throughout time who actually have the desire, son, do you hear me, to rule the world and be looked at as a god. This ain't the first time it's happened, and if this world continues, it will not be the last. If I am wrong and this continues on this shitty fucking path. So this isn't a new phenomena. Adolf Hitler was another one. A lot of the Egyptian pharaohs, again, portrayed themselves as gods before their people. Ruler after ruler. Leaders of other nations, of other areas of the world throughout time. This isn't new, but you motherfuckers, you stepped in shit big fucking time with this pick. You picked an Adolf. And I must say, son, I know you don't care and it's way too late. But I gotta say, how did Germany end the fuck up under Mr. Adolf? Not too good, son. In fact, it was quite horrific. Your worst fucking nightmares. So where this Reich going? Son, I gotta ask that question again. The same place, unfortunately, but this time with nukes. And the Antichrist, not an Antichrist like Adolf Hitler, the. Donnie's face on 3 coins, 1 you can spend. We don't do this in America. This is not normal. You fucked up picking this monster. As you'll notice when you get to the gas station. I heard a Trump supporter on recording. This recording is going all over the internet. She came to the gas station. Someone put a mic in front of her face. What do you think of Donnie? He's a worthless piece of shit. Did you vote for him? How many times you voted? I voted for him 3 times and I must be an idiot. She said that out loud. And I could tell that was real MAGA, son. And that's the problem with you people. That's why our country's over. Not until it slaps you in the face does it matter to you. That's what they were banking on. That's why they chose you. Your group. Here's Donnie at the podium again in front of whoever these people are. I'd be too ashamed to show my face in a picture with this monster. I have much more power in my 2nd term. We've heard that from Donnie a bunch of times. He runs the country and what class? Said out loud to the Atlantic magazine. This time I run the country and the world. I read it to you. I told you he's the Antichrist, right, son? We have the greatest military in the world. We're proving that when you can take Venezuela in a matter of minutes, boasting of an annexation, murder of 200 people, 80 on land, almost 200 on sea, all to steal a nation's oil. We'll keep the oil, he says. I'll control the money in a Qatari bank account. That sounds legit. I'm sure if Joe Biden or Barack Obama did that, you'd be totally cool. Right, hypocrites? Destined to be charcoal? Right. Any scenario I bring up, if I pose the question to you, I already know the answer. What if Joe did it? What if Barack did it? I know exactly what your perspective would be. Therefore, you are a hypocrite who believes in nothing, and you never did. That's simple. Boasting of annexation and the stealing of a nation's resources via mass murder using your military that you pay for. Well done. Antichrist. The Pentagon is sending 3 warships, thousands of additional Marines to the Middle East, even as Trump insists he won't put American boots on the ground. Well, it's kind of looking like boots gonna be on the ground, huh, son? This is from NPR. The pilot of the American F-35 hit by an Iranian missile yesterday suffered shrapnel wounds but is in stable condition. F-35 made a hard landing and won't be returning to service anytime soon. And damn near crash landing, that means. If not a crash landing. After ejection, of course. They hit an F-35, son, our most advanced plane. And the pilot got hurt. I thought they were obliterated, defeated. They ain't got shit. You can just fly right. We can hit anything we want, fly right through. It don't sound like it, son. It don't sound like it. Okay, this is about, again, I hope more people keep talking about this because I knew it would go here. And I knew when I first heard Paxton and Abbott were human trafficking people, putting people on buses, running these concentration camps with their buddies. I knew there was Epstein intersection or sex trafficking going on. Rapes, etc. going on. Now we're starting to get evidence of it. How do we solve this heinous crime? Christians? All the mass cunts and the cunts that work at the facilities, they give a DNA sample. You know, the same thing they take off of protesters when they corner them, pretend they're going to arrest them, and they just take a DNA sample without their permission. That's been happening left and right. So if that's allowed by the Gestapo, specifically, then we should have a database of all their DNA. So if they rape somebody, do whatever, we got them. We got to match up their child, whatever. Rape kit evidence, whatever. We got it. What's wrong with that, Rubes? That wouldn't be wrong in any way, would it? Fucking cunts that made this happen. Every ICE agent and every male prison employee should be required to provide DNA so that they can be matched up to their kids for child support and criminal prosecution. Yep. Hey, they can take your DNA. The masked immune Gestapo, the murderers, the kidnappers, the rapists, just like I've been saying. Have you been noticing I've been throwing that rape word in with these guys for a while now? Because I know what it is, son. What kids? They are now or soon to be in the Epstein supply chain of children. No birth certificate, no red tape, no missing child reports. Yep. And this ain't no new phenomena down in Tejas. Fuck out of here. some young girls, young women are showing up pregnant in these camps and they didn't go in pregnant. So you know what that fucking means, right, Roops? Your name's on it. And I already knew for years that you got an endless supply of children and women. You know where that's going to end up every time. Some fat cunt pimping them out. That's where it ends up every time. Some fat, worthless cunt that might as well have been born charcoal, son. Because my guy, you just don't even know what the man's going to do to you. Every one of you. Whether you're from the inner city and you doing it there, or you from the country doing it there. James Carville, been a political commentator for many years, a Democrat. He really doesn't like Donnie, and I totally get where he's coming from. Because Donnie in the past 10 years have really, increased my focus on a certain area. Just like Mr. Carville. Because, I have trouble focusing often too. My mind's thinking about 97 different things. And when I want to focus on something, that's difficult. It's difficult for a lot of people. You do not determine who in the fuck is going to be successful in this country because you are a model for the theory that a fat, stupid sack of shit can get elected president because that's what you are. Fat, stupid sack of shit. I love that I have dyslexia. I love that I have a short attention span. The only thing that I've ever been able to concentrate on in my whole life is how much I fucking hate you. And look at the face on Mr. Carville as he's saying it. I do hate Donnie, and I hate those that made this. But it's a different thing for me. People like to accuse those that have focused on these last 10 years and put extra effort in and really said some crazy shit about it, like Mr. Carville, like me. They like to call us obsessed with Donnie. People in my personal life have even said that to me. And I had to explain to them, son, I'm not obsessed with Donnie. No one's obsessed with Donnie. What I'm personally obsessed with, Mr. Carville, I'm sure is obsessed with, freedom and America and the way this country should be and all that. For me, it's a bit different, but I'm along the same lines as him. That's what he's obsessed with, not Donnie shitbags. He's obsessed with getting this back on the right course. Instead of being looted, dismantled, and ruined for Russia and a fucking grifter. And Mr. Carville doesn't even know what I know. It's going to go much further than that. We should be so lucky as to only lose America and the empire. Oh my God, son, you don't even know. So I had to explain to this person's son, I'm not obsessed with Donnie in any way, shape, or form. What I'm obsessed with is this slide into the abyss. And I can't help but state reality. A big flaw of mine that's gotten me in a lot of trouble over the course of my life. What I'm obsessed with is this end thing. And I'm dealing with it, I guess, the only way I know how. Tell people what's going on, because they don't fucking know. Why would they? Who the fuck studies hermeneutics for 3 years? Who the fuck shuts the fuck up and observes patterns? How many have the devil been so obviously after in so many just 3-year-old obvious ways? How many have pondered so many aspects of what we are living in right now, way, way, way before it happened? How many are unaffected, untainted by the cult bias that they daddy taught them, that Fox News taught them, that this society taught us? I never felt comfortable, son. So having that knowledge and actually pondering it and not just spouting it nonsensically, really looking for the criteria. And the most important part, not allowing right-wing fake Jesus to ruin it all. The interpretation of its son. That's the real point. For I know many Bible teachers and church leaders, and I know it in my bones, son. It's obvious when you see them speak out before us and what community they're part of. That they've given countless lessons or sermons on end times and the return of Christ and the Antichrist, and lectures and videotapes and audio tapes and videos on social media about it. And then, son, when it comes along, they go along. Can you believe it? So what good was their training? What good was their existence? What use are they to God when they know all of the end times details? They've studied it for years, and they just shaking hands with the AC. That makes them rather worthless, doesn't it, in every way? The training was worthless. Their interpretations, all the hours they spent, all the stupid lectures they gave, all the videos they made. It makes them all and their existence absolutely fucking worthless. So to have all that training, to have that knowledge that very few people on this planet truly have an understanding of. Very few. And why would they? There's so many more important things to focus on, man, than the next life. What is that to any of us? Do we know it? No, we don't. Do we even know if it exists? No, we don't. Pure faith. A lot to ask when you're stuck in this shithole where you're very to breathe costs money. To breathe enslaves you. And the devil makes sure of that, son. Breathing ain't even free. So to have that knowledge and have that training, and the most important part, to not let some cult bias, born of sheep, ruin it. For instance, instead of me voting for the Antichrist, endorsing and preaching his gospel because I'm a Christian, and he says he's a Christian, and he holds up a Bible, and Mitch McConnell says he's a Christian, and Lindsey Graham, and all of them, instead of go along with that, just because they allege to believe in the book and the word and Christ, and I allege it as well. No, I'm on the complete opposite end of the spectrum. I'm yelling to the world that he's the Antichrist and don't take the mark. And I didn't say, hey, just because I'm a Christian and I believe in Scripture and all that and Jesus, I got to vote Republican because they say they do. And they say they're pro-life as they start endless wars every single fucking time. Bombing millions over the decades. As they hold the Bible up, talking about pro-life until their mistress gets pregnant. Always and forever. That's the most important part. Again, I have to repeat, what good's the knowledge? What good's the training that God gave you, son? I'm talking to Paul Begley. I'm talking to, BP Earthwatch, all those alleged Christians, the Hagmans. Hal Lindsey, if he's still alive, I don't even know. Probably voted MAGA. All the different pastors I listened to over the years. I wonder how you guys voted. Although they were not the traditional, normal type preachers you would see at your local Catholic church. They were a bit different. But still. What good is the knowledge God gave you, son? To warn the flock, if you instruct the flock to go along. Oh my God, what an offense that is. And I'm sorry, there's no way one of you pastors, entities I just named, can stand before God and say, I didn't know. I didn't know what he was. You can't. No, son. Don't even try it with me. Don't try it. I know you know. At the very least, I know you know he's about the most evil thing you've ever seen. That should be enough. But a lot of you, and I know you know this, you know what he is. And I swear, I don't even want to think about the man who God gave training for this moment, who says, I got a flock, I got a following, I've been doing hermeneutics and Bible lessons and end times theology for a decade or two. I've been telling the congregation to vote their conscience, which means Republican, always. Once in a while, I throw in a little end times sermon, just to keep it interesting. And then he comes along, son. And you don't warn the flock, son. Oh my God. I am terrified for you when you stand before the man with that on your fucking resume. Because those people, again, I know you care about where you're at. Your nice house, your nice car, your following, your reputation, your standing in the community, your congregation. but they turn to you for knowledge and instruction. And you led them to the Antichrist instead of making a stand and saying, I know we usually vote Republican, but this time we can't. We can't be part of this person. He's evil. At the least, Antichrist at the most. And I know a lot of you know. Wasn't planning on saying none of this. But it's a thought I often have. Because again, son, I could have been part of that right-wing grift when I jumped on social media around 10 years ago, right when it was ripe. Pizzagate, all that right-wing, Bible, Christianity, goes hand in hand, right? Right, Rubes? Right-wing grift machine, make that money. I could have done it. It would have been so easy. You think I didn't see that lay in there? I told you this a million times. I could have been preaching the Donnie gospel. I could have made some real money. But I'm not that type of person that grifts. I'm not that type of person that can just come on and be a fake ass like that on shit I don't even believe. And the most important reason, Donnie's evil and is the Antichrist, and I know that. And I've always known. For 10 years. Since 2015. But I could have said, well, the right-wing grift machine makes money. Maybe I can tap into some of that Russia money, too. But I didn't. Even though I'm a Christian. And that's cost me, but my point is, better to accept the cost in the shite realm here than stand before the man and say, yes, I knew he was the Antichrist, or at the very least, I knew he was an evil, vile piece of shit. But he was on our team. And if I would have went against our team, I would have lost my congregation, Lord. My kids would have starved. My wife would have hated me and divorced me. I would have lost my house. I would have been shunned by my flock, my sheep. I probably would have had to move out of the community, and my income will be gone. As dire as all that is, the man will not give one fuck about any of it. It's not that kind of game. You either down or you ain't down. And if you down with the Antichrist in any way, shape, or form, son, I mean any, then you ain't down. It's that simple. Because he's the vile thing mentioned at the end of the book and all throughout the book. So many warnings about this person. That's the level of evil we're talking about. That God throughout the Bible warned. Old Testament, New Testament, all over the fucking place. About this end time person. That's how fucking serious it is. Again, why I've been yelling for 10 years. So I wouldn't want to stand before the man knowing what I know, having run a right-wing grift and told people, yeah, go in league with the Antichrist. He's great. So much better than a liberal. Go for it, man. MAGA. Let me put my hat on. I would not want to stand in front of a man with that. And I know a lot of you pastors and hermeneutics people, you know what he is. And you going along, man. I wouldn't want to be you. As righteous as you think you are. Get a little nippy outside. Wasn't expecting that. All right, so James Carville hates Donnie's guts. To the point it's the only thing he could ever focus on completely. I can relate. This is Representative Hardopoulos. And they're on C-SPAN, and this is what they look like. I have no idea who this is. Would you consider the military taking over Kharg Island boots on the ground? I think people would see that as an occupation of a vital economic interest. That's a fancy way to say boots on the ground. As a history teacher, I consider boots on the ground occupying an entire country like we did after World War II in Japan. You know what I consider boots on the ground? I'm not a history teacher. And I'm not a disingenuous partisan hack either. Boots on the fucking ground. That's what I consider boots on the ground. A soldier in a U.S. uniform on foreign soil with boots on that are touching the ground, who has potential to be shot and killed or blown up or whatever by an enemy. Boots on the ground. This is a partisan hack. The fuck? It's not a war because then we go to jail. Then we get impeached. So it can't be a war. So it's a war that's not a war, even though we're sending 3 warships and, like 8,000 troops. Like Vietnam wasn't a war. Now, with America, they're always thinking of the economic interests. And in Vietnam, it was about stopping communism. Anywhere a communist Russia, China, mostly Russia, would try and take over around the world, America would get in a war, a proxy war on that piece of land. Happens over and over again. When it happened in Vietnam, yes, America could have fucking just carpet bombed the whole fucking country, but that wasn't the mission. The mission was make the people love democracy and America and hate communism and get rid of the Russians and let us come in and take it, steal everything instead of the Russians. That was the goal. Hearts and minds at the point of a machine gun. Like in Iraq and Afghanistan, you know the story. So America could have used all of its force and just made the whole country of Vietnam ash. But that was not the mission. So they went in troop to troop. Motherfuckers getting killed left and right in guerrilla warfare in the fucking jungle. And it turned into a clusterfuck, and America turned tail and ran. Even though it had the power to obliterate all of the country. So these huge conflicts that last years, and we don't technically call them a war. It's such a joke. And son, I don't care if you're a history teacher. I don't care if you're in Congress. That don't mean jack fuck to me. If there's an American soldier's boot touching Iranian soil, that is boots on the ground. And us peasants out here in peasant land know that. As long as we're not hack rubes that repeat the party line. And I thought about something today. If Donnie's the Antichrist, and I think he is, and he ends up in the lake, I thought a cool punishment would be an eternal parrot right at the edge of the lake. And as Donnie's roiling in the fucking flames for all eternity, the parrot is just squawking the word tariffs over and over again. Just forever. The parrot never sleeps. He never leaves. He just stays there. So as Donnie roils in the flames, all he hears is tariffs, 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 tariffs. Cunts! May it be a reality. Praise Jesus. ICE is straightforwardly a Gestapo secret police now disappearing people at the president's personal direction for simply crossing one of his cronies. Well, that was always the intent, son. I said that in the beginning. That's why they wear the masks. That's why they're immune. I said when the first van gets deployed and people are disappeared, America is over, right? I said that prior to January. I said that at January, after January. That was always the intent. To shoot lesbians in the face. To shoot protesters in the back. To disappear people. Trump friend asked ICE to murder people, to rape people, to rob people, to cause various, forms of mayhem, to put people in camps for the camp owners that are going to burn like hot charcoal. Trump friend, picture orange charcoal at its peak. That's you, son. You know who I'm talking to. Trump friend asks ICE to detain the mother of his child. Paolo Zampoli, a former modeling agent and longtime Trump ally, was in a custody battle over his son. An ICE official agreed to help. Yeah, I bet they did. And I bet Mr. Zampoli got his son. Secret police that disappear people. How many videos have I seen that I don't even talk about? Where some white person or some person gets in an argument out in public with a Spanish person or a black person, and they say, I'm going to call ICE. How many of you over the years and throughout my life have I met that are just like that? Ready to ruin someone's life. Because, son, you ready for this? Because you're mad. Being mad now gives you the right to lie, right? Being mad gives you the right to falsely imprison someone, right, son? Being mad gives you the right to join up with mobsters. Being mad gives you the right to parrot mobsters' talking points. Being mad gives you the right to do anything. That's why you're going to burn. So many I've met, I've interacted with, I've seen. Getting in an argument with a Spanish person in public and saying you are going to attempt to imprison them because you're mad, not because they broke the law. You are charcoal. That's all you ever were. This gentleman that got his ex-wife, mother of his child, whatever, deported, he is charcoal. That's all he ever was. Donnie, the one who sent the mass murdering, kidnapping Gestapo out. Charcoal. If ever there was any. Nobody knows how fucked the situation in the Persian Gulf actually is. 3,200 ships are trapped in the Persian Gulf right now. Crews are running out of drinking water. One ship called the local port authority and begged for permission to dock just to get water. They were denied. Let that sink in. These aren't military ships. These are commercial vessels carrying oil, grain, electronics with civilian crews who are now stranded with no supplies and no way out. 3,200 ships stuck, crews running out of water, port authorities refusing to let them dock, multiple ships reporting the same situation. For context, the Suez Crisis in 2021 blocked 400 ships. This is 8 times worse, and no one's talking about. Yeah, 32 fucking hundred, was that the number? Jesus. That's a lot of boats, man. And these ain't rowboats. They're showing you missile interceptions and oil price charts. They're not showing you thousands of crew members slowly running out of drinking water in the middle of a war zone. If these ships start getting abandoned, the environmental disaster alone would be catastrophic. Thousands of tons of fuel, cargo, chemicals just sitting there. This is not a shipping disruption. This is a humanitarian crisis unfolding in real time. Prepare accordingly. Sounds like a fucking nightmare. U.S. gears up for ground invasion of Iran. The U.S. is accelerating the deployment of approximately 8,000 Marines and sailors to the Middle East. Additional Marines, that is. There's already military there. In a show of rapid deployment, the USS Boxer Amphibious Ready Group is arriving ahead of schedule with roughly 4,000 Marines and sailors. They will link up with the USS Tripoli Group, already traveling from Japan with 5,000 personnel. They're just bringing ships from all over Cali, Japan. Oh my God. The combined force of 6 amphibious ships will increase regional force strength by approximately 8,000. So 8,000 more troops going to this clusterfuck. There's no point deploying Marines to the region unless the U.S. intends to launch a full-scale ground invasion of Iran. That's just what they waiting for, son. Is Donnie crazy enough? Oh my God. The worst terrain imagine. Mountainous, rocky, all fucked up. Oh my God. I wouldn't go into the lion's den, boy. This ain't fucking Venezuela, son. There's no point deploying Marines to the region unless the U.S. intends to launch. Their probable objective is to secure the Strait of Hormuz and seize control of Karg Island. The conflict is poised to escalate sharply in the coming weeks. Donnie talked years ago, way before he was president, about seizing Karg Island, by the way. And I'm personally wondering, are they trying to start a big war again so they could just cancel the midterms? Oh, martial law, it's, we're at war. We can't have elections. Malcolm Nance again, giving his input on this clusterfuck. You cannot get to Karg Island with Marines until you successfully transit the Strait of Hormuz. Good luck with that. Which the IRGC will make a living hell with sea mines, suicide boat drones, missiles, and aerial drones. Fuck yeah, they will. You're coming in right into the lion's den and a choke point. It's in a nation that's stockpiled missiles and drones for years. Oh my God. Whew. Once past the SOH, it's a 20 to 24 hour dash, 380 nm to Karg Island along a coast that may be firing off anti-ship missiles, ballistic hypersonic missiles, cruise missiles, small boats, suicide drones. Yeah, you're in a shooting gallery at a choke point. I could just picture the Iranians like, yes, just let them come on in. Just come on in. We're obliterated, right, Donnie? Just come on in. Oh, God. This could be real bad, man. Boats, suicide drones of all sorts, aerial, surface, and subsurface, yep. They the masters of drones, them in Ukraine. Then they can just blow up the island's refineries when you arrive, so you have to live in a town of 8,000 who hate you in a cloud of poisonous booby traps, planting bombs. going into the lion's den. There's a reason this hasn't been done by all the Republican war hawks over the years. I'm no military expert, but if they attempt to go to the Strait of Hormuz, I expect boats to be sunk. I expect men to die. If they try and land by boat, by air, parachute in, if they go to that island, you within striking distance of the mouth of the lion. And I'm going to be honest, our military hasn't been in a real fight in a long time. And this may be a real fight, son. And by a real fight, I mean a fight where in a short amount of time, you take a significant amount of casualties, deaths. And again, they haven't been in a real fight. Iraq was no fight. Kuwait was no fight. Afghanistan was no fight. Yes, troops were killed by roadside bombs and different small attacks here and there over years, creating the number at the end. I'm talking about 100 dying in a day. Or 1,000, son. That's the real fight. I don't want to see that. Too late. Reign of the Antichrist. And you gave him the keys. So we gonna see that. Repeat after me. To get amphibious ships to Karg, you need to clear the Strait of Hormuz and after hundreds of miles of coastline. Yeah, look at the... There's a little map here. And you can kind of see the 2 points that are circled. That's all rocky terrain. That is not soil. Moguls, mini mountains, nightmare. Right off their coast. And if you go on land, oof. It'll be a bloodbath. That's what I expect, but I'm no expert. Maybe I'm wrong. Deadly fungal storms are now sweeping the U.S. and spreading a disease few doctors recognize, and the problem is just getting worse. I did not read this article because I'm afraid to. This was put up by Volcaholic or Weather Monitor. I can't remember which one. Those are serious weather and volcano accounts that follow shit for real. They're not doing glory shit. It's very boring stuff to most people. But they are useful because of what they keep an eye on. Their field. They're important. And they try. They're not bullshit. And they posted this, and fungal storms, rat, lungworm, only in the apocalypse, son. I never heard no shit like this before. And I don't care what medical journal you fucking throw at me, what doc, whatever. Oh yeah, rat, lungworm, yeah. No, fuck you. Only in the apocalypse, rat, lungworm, fungal storms. And I hate you. I filled my tank up yesterday, $87. A month ago, it was $54. Big difference. Almost 100 as compared to half 100. Saudi Aramco's internal models project $180 oil, $180 a barrel by late April. The people who know oil better than anyone on earth are terrified of their own number. I bet they is, son. I'm hearing this could go on, this oil problem, till late 2027. I mean, hey, Donnie's coming to the rescue with 8,000 more troops and a bunch of warships. How much worse could it get, right, son? Monumentally worse. I love what this person said. Admiral Mike Franken. I don't know who they are. Mr. President, do not, please, do not put a detachment ashore in Iran. Right, son? That's what I'm talking about. The troops that are going there, they should be talking about that too. The general should be talking about that too, letting Donnie know, do you want a bloodbath, son? Is that what you're looking for? Because that's what it's going to be. Instead, they're just driving the boat into the fire. Every war game ends badly for the invasion force, Iran's civilians, and the world's economy. It's a quagmire without end, without cover, son. This ain't the jungles of Vietnam where you can hide behind a fucking tree. Open rock. You can't dig in. You can't do nothing except die. And they got guns in that country, son. And they got missiles, and they got all kinds of wonderful stuff. I agree with the Admiral wholeheartedly here. And the Admiral would know about war games and wargaming this out and seeing what would actually happen in models. Hence all the Republican warhawks not going into Iran all these decades until crazy Donnie comes along, the anti-fucking Christ. In other words, what's this going to be, class? A real fight. It could very easily be. We could lose ships, however many sailors are on board, men that go ashore could take heavy casualties. The Admiral thinks so. The war games that he saw think so. And he has a solution. Call victory and leave. Yeah. Just do it, Donnie. You're going to taco eventually. Just call victory. Get the fuck out of there. I'll lie and say you won. Just taco, man. Don't send these fools in there to die. I could not agree more with the Admiral here. Such a terrible idea, daring to put boots on the ground in Iran or Karg Island or whatever the fuck. Don't do it, man. Donnie here did a little outside interview. It's relatively safe, talking about the Strait of Hormuz. No, it's not at all. The Navy's too scared to even go in it. Trump on the Strait again. At a certain point, it will open itself. And he's talking about the allies, and I got more context later. No. Iran wants revenge. They want a reckoning. No. And I know what he means. He means we'll leave, and Europe and everyone will have to come in and fix it because they rely on it. That's what he means. Fox News reporter, you said the war was militarily won in Iran. What did you mean by that? Oh, I think we won. From a military standpoint, they are finished. Really? Is the strait open? Is that oil gas field not on fire? Why are 8,000 troops heading there and a bunch of warships? So how much longer should the American people expect this to go on? Donnie walks away. Donnie, again, I don't want to do a ceasefire. You know, you don't do a ceasefire when you're literally obliterating the other side. Is that why the Admiral just warned it's going to be a quagmire and a bunch of soldiers are going to die, and don't do it? Because you're obliterating them like you obliterated their nuclear program the last time you lied about it? God, he looks horrible. Look at this fucking demon. Oh my God. I think we've won the war. We've knocked out their Navy, their Air Force. We've knocked out their anti-aircraft. We've knocked out everything. We're roaming free from military standpoint. All they are doing is clogging up the strait. Really? Is that why that oil field's on fire? Is that why that F-35 got shot down? Is that why the strait's still closed? So I shouldn't believe my lying eyes? What we're allowed to see, which tells me missiles are hitting Israel, missiles are hitting the Middle East in various places. Otherwise, we'd be able to see. So they're doing more than clogging the strait, son. A lot more. You said opening the Strait of Hormuz is a simple military maneuver. What did you mean by that? It's a simple maneuver. Really? Why is the Navy not in the strait then? It's a simple maneuver. You need volume. NATO could help us. Oh, so bring 100 ships in the strait to get sunk. That's a great idea, Donnie. Why don't the U.S. Navy lead the way, right? You need volume. NATO could help us. They haven't had the courage to do so. At a certain point, it will open itself. Donnie, again, talking about leaving and leaving them to clean up the mess. I don't think that's going to go so well. And then another post by Donnie later in the day. We are getting very close to meeting our objectives as we consider winding down our great military efforts in the Middle East with respect to the terrorist regime in Iran, completely degrading Iranian missile capacity. All right, I'm not going to read the rest. He's going to list that he's obliterated them and what's all been destroyed. But the reality is they haven't been destroyed. They're still fighting, and they still have the ability to fight. Seriously. So it looks like Donnie's chickening out here again. Now, we keep getting this back and forth. Can we get some help? Okay, if we don't get help, I'm just going to leave and you can clean up the mess. We don't need your help. Can we get some help? It's almost over. Not much longer. We don't need no help. Can we get some help? You're all cowards for not helping us. Deploy 8,000 military and 3 warships. Now we're getting close to meeting our objective. It's almost over. Then why are 8,000 more troops heading to the theater, son? And 3 warships? I don't know how, and I knew at the beginning in January, I don't know how for you all, me, all of, how are we going to take 4 years of this and longer because he's not leaving? And knowing this shit paradigm and its history, of course it'll last longer than I want it to or I expect it to. Of course it will. Why the fuck wouldn't it? Who fucking cares? All the death and evil that's taken place on this worthless goddamn rock for thousands of years and no one's intervened. From the spiritual realm, I mean. Why the fuck would they care now? Until the nukes start flying, I guess. Before the whole creation gets destroyed, right? That's when you'll step in. Of course. And, you know, instead of it taking 3.5 like I thought it would, you know, it'll stretch it out 12, 13, 20, 30. Right? Right. Forgive my grumbling, Lord. I just don't see the point. So we're meeting our objectives, but our 8,000 troops and 3 warships are, you know, a week out, 2 weeks out, a month out, and they're heading there. An attempt to manipulate the market right before closing or something? I don't know what this is. It's not reality, I know that. This judge denies more than 95% of asylum claims. Can you believe this, son? What they did to Abrego Garcia? Let's remember that for a moment. And they will pay, son, my God, what they did to that man. Remember the little child in the blue hat that they used for bait to try and capture his father? Holding him hostage. Literally, in masks. A child. 5, 6 years old. That's Jesus-y, right, Rubes? And Jesus don't care whether he's illegal or not. I know you people throw that out there to justify the evil within yourself. I get it. I get it. That's what you were told to do. You're good sheep. I know. Christ don't give a fuck about that. Neither does the man. It's a child. That's all Christ give a fuck about. That's all the man give a fuck about. And I personally cannot possibly be more disgusted by the thought of a small child or any child behind bars, unless they stabbed someone or something. That's a different story. We're not talking about that. We all know it. And son, again, I wouldn't want that on my resume that I'm down with, you know, little Liam in a cage. You a braver man than me if you want to stand in front of the man that you allege to believe in with that on your resume. I wouldn't want to. I'd be too scared. A federal judge has ordered the removal of Liam Consejo Ramos, the toddler in Minnesota who was detained by ICE earlier this year. Is that going to save the farm, Rubes? It's a nice distraction while you lose it, though, isn't it? A little Latin kid that just wanted to go to school one day and be like all the other kids. Grabbed by your worthless charcoal destined for the lake mass murdering Gestapo that kidnap children, women, rape women, steal their property, shoot women 5 times for no reason, just for fun to get a bounty. This judge, son in the robe, I don't know if you've done it before. It sounds like you already have, actually. You've probably accomplished what I'm about to say a long time ago. But with this, when you gavelled this down, you gavelled your place. You cemented with your gavel your place in the lake, son. And that's not a threat to you. I'm not talking about the earthly realm. I'm talking about something much worse, son. I know you think you know better. You got the robe, the gavel. You don't approve anyone's asylum. You deport little 4-year-olds, little 5-year-olds because the Reich wants you to. Because the devil wants you to. I know. But with the gaveling of this child's deportation and what he's gone through, you have cemented with your gavel your place in the lake, son. But I know. The robe, the title will save you, right, son? And you're a judge. You know better, and you know all. I know. Good luck, son. Trump admin issues 30-day waiver lifting sanctions on 140 million barrels of Iranian oil currently at sea. What does that mean? The Reich steals it? What does that mean? It might not even be reality. I'll get to it. We're now dealing with multiple expedited CO applications by those in the Navy, Army, and Marines who were just told they deploy as early as tomorrow. All those deployments I just told you about. What are we talking about here? The Center on Conscience and War. Again, these are a group of people that let soldiers know that there's a hotline they can call and they could possibly get out of service if they object to what's going on. Donnie got out of service, your hero. Bone spurs. Yet he can do the double stroke all day. Interesting, right? So this hotline, this group that helps soldiers that object to whatever's going on, that to help them get out, lets them know their rights, what they can legally do, maybe they can achieve their goal. They're letting us know they're now dealing with multiple CO applications. What's that mean? Commanding officer, son. Of the Navy, Army, and Marines. Some of them want to get out of it. I heard that laundry fire on the carrier may have been set intentionally so they could get out of the theater because the men just don't want to be there no more. Or it could have got hit with something they ain't telling us. All I know is there are some soldiers in there that ain't down with this. And it's good to know and it's good to see. But you got to put the gun down, son. You got to say no. Otherwise, it's worthless. So more calls are coming into this group by the fucking day. Because again, son, there's another aspect of this that I mentioned earlier. This has the potential very strongly to be a real fight where American soldiers get killed in number. So I assume there's a bunch of calls being made for that reason as well. This ain't Iraq, son. This ain't Afghanistan. This ain't Venezuela. This is something much more dire and serious. And this population's much more prepared for fighting than Iraqis, Kuwaitis, Afghanis, whatever. Much more. And the terrain's a fucking nightmare. So I assume a lot of calls are coming in for that reason. This looks like it's going to be a real fight where you might not come home, son. You might come home in a box. I imagine a lot of soldiers are thinking about, like, yo, this ain't Iraq, son. This ain't blowing up boats in the Caribbean for fun. This is the Iran military and it looks like this. And I shouldn't laugh, but, you know, our empire is being led by the Antichrist. I really can't argue with these people right now, can I? Negotiating with the great Satan was futile. It turns out it only understands the language of violence. Do you realize they're speaking the actual truth right now? Donnie's the anointed of the devil? I know that's hard to accept and believe. Believe me, I get it. I've been looking for a way out of it for 10 years. I can't find one. I wish I could. I don't want it to be so. I don't enjoy this again. I have to keep saying this. This isn't fun for me. I'm not seeking glory here. This ain't helping my rep out. This ain't helping me stay on social media. And I ain't making dime one. I'm too lazy to even put the PayPal up anymore. And I think it's the one link they allow me to put up. I think. I'm not even sure. Maybe I can't. So when they say the great Satan, son, yep. I can't even argue it. They speak in the gospel truth and they might not even know it. He's the Antichrist and he bombing their country. And yeah, they've been involved in some bad shit with our enemies, with terror. I get it, yeah. But he's the Antichrist. And he always brings up that they kill their people in Iran when they protested it. So do you, Donnie. You sent a mass police force, immune, out to specifically do that. You're exactly like the leader of Iran was. You are the same exact thing. Donnie wants that same type of society. That's why he envies Kim Jong, Vlad, Xi. Nobody talks when Xi speaks. The couch fucker interrupts me when I talk. I'm not treated like a god king. Like Kim Jong, like Xi, like Vlad. Donnie was the Ayatollah. Do you understand that? No different in any way. And we've watched his goon force execute American citizens on the fucking street and get rewarded and get called heroes and get money and not lose their job, let alone go to jail, my God, for murder. So he's no better than the Ayatollah, and plus he's a pedophile, and they point that out and I can't even argue it, son. The leader of my country, they call him an abject fucking pedophile that diddles with children. And I can't argue it, son. They call him or us the great Satan. I can't argue it, son. You put the Antichrist in charge. How can the devil's literal anointed? I can't argue it, son. That's what you've done. U.S. seeks to avert extended closure of Strait of Hormuz. And what's Iran saying here again? They only understand a reckoning, son. So that's what we got to do. We got to keep that strait closed. We got to keep blowing up boats. We got to keep blowing up fields if they want to continue this little game. That's what Iran's saying. They ain't playing and they ain't answering the phone when people call up. Hey, you want to make a peace agreement with a liar that bombed you in the middle of the last peace agreement? That killed your top 50, killed hundreds or thousands more of your people? No, they don't. They want revenge. They want a reckoning. And they getting it. And them troops, if they dare try and step on that soil, they're going to rue the fucking day, boy. It's going to be bad. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they all prove me wrong. I'm not looking for that outcome. And what I forgot to say is, once again, What they believe is not what that I want them to believe, because it's fun for me. I get to talk on camera about it. No, I don't want them to believe it. I'm saying it out loud to you night after night for a couple years now. Because it's what they believe, and that's what I'm stuck with. I have no choice. I'm telling you what it is. Nazism, the Antichrist, all of it. That is what they are into. Pedophilia, that is what they are into. Antichrist, that's what he is. It's that simple. I don't want it to be again. It's what they are. It's what he is. It's what they believe. Therefore, I must tell you. You know what? Before I read this next one, it has to do with Leon Scum. He's been out of the headlines for a minute, but now he's back in with some nefarious bullshit. Adjudicated. Gavelled the fuck down. Just like the adjudicated criminal Google. Gavel. Okay. Take a sip of water before we get into this Leon shit. So we found out Leon's a pedo. He's a Nazi with the Nazi salute on Inauguration Day. He poisons people with his data centers, whole cities, whole neighborhoods. Now, in the Elon Musk Twitter case, the verdict came in. Jury rules that Musk defrauded, intentionally misled Twitter investors by disparaging the company in 2022, trying to buy it for less than his original $44 billion bid, damages to be determined. Remember what Leon said? He said there's bots all over the place, blah, 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 blah. There's really not that many people, not that much traffic. And then Leon and the Saudis and Vlad and Puff Daddy buy Twitter and others, all nefarious cunts. And Leon literally floods it with bots. Over 70% of his followers are bots. So he disparages, and there were Leon bots all over Twitter before he bought it, actually. But after he bought it, my God. So for him to use that as a way to get out of buying it, because his mouth got him into something that he wasn't really prepared for. So he got scared. And he tried to get out of it. By lying about the site, bringing up the bots and all that we all know are there. On every website. But when he came, he had no problem deploying them left and right, my God. What a hypocrite, what a scumbag, what a liar. And now a judge has said, yeah, you misled the investors. You're going to have to pay, son. So Leon gavelled a scumbag once again. And this is great news for the obliterated Iran. Right, Donnie? Iran fired a pair of intermediate-range ballistic missiles at Diego Garcia, a joint U.S.-UK base in the Indian Ocean. One missile failed in flight. Another was engaged by a U.S. Navy destroyer using an SM-3 missile. Diego Garcia, let's take a look quickly. This is like Saudi Arabia, between Africa, you know, that shape. And you go south and Diego Garcia. So they might be able to hit this thing, son. I'm amazed they even try. See, they've already hit a bunch of targets close by. And the Navy's chicken shit scared to go into that strait. And I don't blame them. And Donnie and Pete keep yelling about how they're just totally destroyed. They got nothing, son. They got nothing. And then they go for Diego Garcia, son. Do you hear me? I was like, get the fuck at that. They really trying some shit here. They got some missiles that can reach that island. I also wonder, I said this back before he invaded Venezuela. I said, I wonder if one of these countries that Donnie and the boys think ain't gonna be shit, did Vlad give him something? A weapon we don't know about, we're not expecting. Something more powerful than we were expecting. I'm wondering that about Iran. Are they waiting for the right moment? Do they have some shit that they save for the right moment? I'm glad I'm not the one going over there to find out. They just went for Diego Garcia's son, and yes, they got missiles that could probably reach there. Don't sound like they're obliterated to me. Don't sound like they have no anti-aircraft. Don't sound like they just shot down an F-35. Don't sound like they're neutralized that much at all, honestly. Blew up that gas field the second Israel hit their shit. Bam. Right away. Natural gas field, I believe. You heard the numbers. The Qataris said, yeah, it costs us $26 billion to build, and there's $20 billion worth of damage. And I think it was relatively new. It was built in the last 10 years. Gone. Burning. Probably still right now at this minute, I assume. Man, this is feeling like it's gonna really get bad. It already is just out of control, horrible. I mean, look, we're talking $180 barrels of oil here. That's not good for anybody. Oh my God, that's not good for anybody. And we got 8,000 more troops on the way. Spokesperson in the Iranian Ministry of Oil. At present, Iran essentially has no crude oil left floating on water or surplus for supply in other international markets. And the statement by the U.S. Treasury Secretary is merely aimed at giving hope to buyers and psychologically controlling the market. So, when the Reich, when Bessent and Donnie say, we're going to unsanction Iranian oil that's on the water, Iran's saying there is no Iranian oil on the water. And it's just an effort at stock manipulation. Very well could be. Donnie's little post about, oh, we're going to end it soon. At the end of the day, stock manipulation. An attempt at it. A weak attempt, but an attempt. Oh, Salman Gadousi, that's the one who said it. In this situation, I'm sorry, I believe Iran more than I believe Bessent and Donnie. All right, we're at the end, kind of. The U.S. Army is preparing to deploy the 82nd Airborne Division into the Middle East region. That's per CBS. There are already 8,000 Marines on their way to Iran, and this is what that looks like. A transport plane. Full of people way braver than Donnie. And these are some of the people, I assume, that might not come home. People analyzed the photo, looked at the faces, looked at the demeanor, and they picked out certain people, and a bunch of people picked out this one guy. This little scene here. These three gentlemen. And the guy in the middle with his head in his hand like this. Now, we have no idea the context of this conversation situation. It could be anything. But people are trying to paint it as this motherfucker's thinking about, I might not come home. And I got myself in some shit here. So someone put a quote above it. Many people are going to use this picture and put a quote. And they will be wonderful, I'm sure. You told me Kamala was going to send me to war. Yeah. Don't you love when Republicans or Nazis like Stephen Miller and all the others before the election, Republicans in general, when they dare point to Democrats and say they're going to start World War III or start a war, when it's always the Republicans that start the wars? And that talking point was by Stephen Miller and if Kamala gets, she's going to start war. Didn't Donnie say that too? She's going to start World War III, literally, as Donnie is the literal Antichrist and will literally start World War III. And I knew that when he was saying it. If you gave him the keys. And I was hoping you would. What a ridiculous statement to say Kamala was going to get us into World War III. And that Obama gave Iran millions of dollars. The part they don't tell you, son, Rubes, that just need a talking point. That was Iran's money he gave them when they made a deal. That's why he gave them the money. Their money. That was frozen because of sanctions. Donnie tore up that deal, calls it the worst deal ever. The con that's going to get us into World War fucking III. Tore up the deal. Says Obama's an idiot. The deal was stupid. 13 dead bodies later. Let's send 8,000 more. So, son, Rubes, I hope the talking point was worth it. And I hope that ain't one of your kids on this plane. After you spouted the talking point that fucking Kamala was going to start World War III. No, you're bitch Antichrist. And I knew that 10 years ago. As you voted for him every 4 years. 3 times. You fucking fools. Because this what we got now. On top of the clusterfuck we already got. I hope one of your kids ain't on that plane, son. Are you happy you voted for Donnie now? Mr. No New Wars man of peace, except for the first 6 months when he was an absolute warmonger. Before Ann Coulter and Alex Jones shamed him. But you people never believed it. You just wanted a talking point. You just repeated what was given to you. Because that's all you have time for, the inclination for. Gave you an argument for your evil once again. That's all they do for you. And then you parrot it. The end result? One of your children, or husbands, or brother, or uncle, or whatever, nephew, cousin, going off to World War III against a real enemy, son. This ain't Venezuela again. We got Navy ships, the most powerful military on Earth, in a stalemate. They have no idea what to do. Except throw more bombs and troops at it. And more carriers. Again, you see these men here, our military, our empire, you would think we had the leverage in this situation, right? No, we don't at all. Iran does. And that's why Donnie crying every day. And what I forgot to say, The most powerful military in the world, the most advanced technology, the most advanced weaponry, and the money to back the shit and the training. That Navy is too scared to go into that strait. That means there's a 80% chance that they don't leave that strait if they go in. That's how serious this situation is. That the U.S. military is afraid to take it on in all its power and glory. Because they know their boat gonna get sunk. Their battleship gonna get sunk. Because this ain't the old days. This is the new days called drones. You thought drones were only gonna kill unsuspecting American citizens under the police state, right, soldiers? No, it's gonna kill a lot of you too. It already has. So think twice before picking up a gun for the Reich if you in the service or you thinking of joining. Think fucking twice. Cause this could be you, son. You ready to go to Iran? Sign up today. They tried to get me, boy. I told you the story. The devil all over it, son. Young hippie boy, 18, 17 years old, in a shitty inner city high school. And somehow, I don't even remember how it began, some recruiter got a hold of me for the Marines, son, the hard one. The first ones that, on the scene that get shot up first, that storm the beach. And these motherfuckers, they don't take no for an answer. They worse than used car salesmen, son. So they obviously getting a percentage, a quota. They're getting something extra out of it. The more they get, the more recruits, more dumbasses they talk into it. They're going to get shot the fuck up. So I'm a hippie kid with long hair. I'm into grunge and metal and all that shit. And I look it. And I don't know if this dude called. He might have called me at my home because, I'm sure they got the list of everyone that's turning that age and they make the calls, try sales pitch, make their money. And I think the guy talked me into meeting with him or something. And I just ditched it. I didn't show up. And I'm in the cafeteria with my buddies at my table and some not buddies at my table. And the man comes in, son. Gets on the microphone in front of the whole cafeteria. Says my name out loud. In uniform. And I'm like, oh, shit. Because they don't take no for an answer, son. They use car salesmen. Like a motherfucker. So a kid I didn't like at the table, he's kind of annoying. It's not that I didn't like, he's just annoying. He wasn't really a group in my group of friends. Not that I had some huge group of friends, but a few. And he, points me out and I'm like, you motherfucker. You motherfucker. Because I was just going to sit there. I wasn't going to do shit. Let him come find me. Points me out. So and the guy sees me. I got to get up. I got to go over. And, I tell him I'm not interested. Oh, just come on down. Just take the test, man. Just take the test. That's all you got to do. No commitment. Just take the test. And I'm a young kid. I'm a shy, whatever. He's a grown man. He's a used car salesman. He talks me into it. I'm a poor kid. I got no future. whatsoever. No money for jack goddamn shit. So college isn't on the horizon. That's for sure. So the military, man, oh, this is a perfect mark right here, boy. Poor cannon fodder. Just what we're looking for. So he talks me into it. This motherfucker. And this is how I know the devil was all over it, son. Right here. You ready? He shows up at my apartment my mom had. Me and my brother. My half-sister at the time, I think. She was born later. We were older. And I see, get out of the car, son. Him. I'm not sure if there's another guy. There might not have been. And this gorgeous little blonde. And son, this is how I know the devil was in it. You ready? Not just that she was there. She had almost bleach blonde hair. To the chin, like maybe a little longer. And an almost kind of a bob thing going on. But it poofed out. Beautiful. Beautiful woman. And she was very short. And a little thick. But not too much. She was perfect. And the second she got out the car, son, I had just spent a couple summers in Wildwood, and I went buck wild. Not the way you're thinking. But I met a few women. I'm talking beautiful. I'm talking, model. I'm talking beautiful. Most men never get to touch women like this. And one of them was a girl named Mandy. And I shouldn't have got with her, but I did. And it was bad, and it was wrong, and it was a whole bunch of things. I was a 17-year-old, 18-year-old kid at the time. I can't remember. 17. Just turned, I think. And she was short and a little thick, with almost the same exact body as this girl walking towards me. And the same hair, son. The same bleach blonde, little short bob poof thing. And she was gorgeous. And so I had an interlude with that girl a summer prior to this. So she was fresh on the mind. And almost her twin sister, son. I shit you not, son. I'm looking out the window. I watch her get out. I watch the tall man get out. And they're walking towards my door. And as they're walking, son, I swear to God, this is what I thought. Oh, this guy's good. And the devil's good. I'm sorry, that's more than coincidence. That's more than... There's no way they could have known I was with that girl either. There's no way they did research on me and figured that out and found a girl that looked just like me. No, they're not putting that much work in, son. I'm not kidding. This girl looked almost exactly like that girl. And I'm like, oh, this is the game, huh? He brings the cute little blonde. And the dumbass young guy looks at that and thinks, ooh, I'd like to get with her. Maybe I got a chance. Just like 9,000 other recruits that see that girl. As if she's not just a prop to get the dumbass recruit to come along. I was like, oh, this motherfucker good. But it didn't faze me for not a second, son. As gorgeous as that girl was, and the one I was with the summer before that looked just like her. One of the most beautiful girls I've ever touched. Let me put it this way. She was exactly what I was looking for physically. Let's put it that way. Totally my type I was looking for at the time. That's not coincidence that a girl that looks like her twin sister came walking up. But again, it never fazed me for a second. Not for even remote split nanosecond was I thinking I was going to get with that girl. I want to join the military because of her. Oh no, I looked at it exactly as what it was. Used car salesman, prop, Satan. So I leave with them. I go down the, wherever it was, barrack, whatever the fuck it was, office. I take the test, I pass it. I go in the office. Oh, you passed. Ready to become a Marine? Nope. Why'd you come down here? You said you'd leave me alone if I came down here, sir. Because I asked him that on the phone. Will you leave me alone if I come down and take this test? Yeah, I'll leave you alone. Whatever the car salesman has to say, boy. Whatever he has to say. Whatever hot little thing he got to bring with him. Whatever. To get your dumb ass to sign. And be government property. I wasn't interested. I was a hippie. Into rock music, weed. I wasn't even into weed at the time. No, I wasn't. That came like later. I dabbled in it. So, when he asked me if I want to be a Marine, no. Straight up, no. That's what I said. He was like, oh, my ploy didn't work? Another thought I had about that girl when I saw her walking up, or as I thought about the situation. Yeah, there's about 9,000 other dudes that are going to be all over that. I don't have a chance. And she's just a prop anyway, so. So that didn't work on me. But I imagine it works on a lot of dudes. See, they call it a dude that's been with girls as pretty as her. That's the problem. So it wasn't no new experience for me. One of these, chunky, maybe not so interesting to women, has trouble, maybe never had a date. Maybe 17, 18 years, maybe never touched a woman. She come walking up. That might work. I wasn't that guy. The first girl I was ever really interested in, she was trying to be a model, actually. And she looked good enough to be a model. Not a runway, super tall, alien, anorexic looking model. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a model type girl that could do commercials, stuff like that. That's just extremely blonde and beautiful and pretty. Cheerleader type girl, that type of girl. All-American cheerleader girl, that type girl. And what's fucked up, the one right after her, the bleached blonde girl, she was even more beautiful. I was a very good-looking young man. Let's put it that way. It's not that I had great game or something. I was just a good-looking young boy. Anyway, I didn't have to go through this right here because I said no. Because I was a hippie, son. And I had already been with beautiful women. And I was barely trying. Luckily for me, or that trick might have worked. Because she was beautiful. I was like, this motherfucker, as he's coming up. I was like, oh, you think you slick. This slick ass mother. He brings this hot little blonde with him for these dumbass recruits, and I bet they fall for it every fucking time. This motherfucker. Satan all over it. The Marines were not for me. No, I'm not disparaging Marine. Whatever. You want to do it? Go for it, son. You want to try and get with the blonde? Go for it. I wasn't interested. Anyway, I gotta go. And thank God this ain't me right here. Praise Jesus for that. And don't take the mark, and have a wonderful evening. Semper Fidelis.